let's just start playing some Star Trek. Do y'all want to play Star Trek?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start. So, you're all on a space station. It's, I don't know good names for space. Deep Space 5, right? You're at Deep Space 5. And you are picking up the last of your supplies. For the Shran is picking up the last of its supplies, as well as a good chunk of the transfers, like the crewmen transferring onto the ship. The person that is aboard the ship right now, the people that are aboard the ship are Nemian. Is that how you say that, Paul, by the way? Nemian? Yes?
Nemian.
Nemian, thank you.
Yeah.
So Nemian, Captain Nemian is aboard, and he's on the bridge. You've just docked into the station, and the crew members that you will be picking up is literally everybody else in the cast. So you've docked, and you have this like little, I don't even know what to call them, at the helm. They're like about 2 feet tall, and they're like, "Hey, Captain, I got a ship apart. Are you ready to go? See the other peoples? Do I need to do anything else?"
You're good, helmsman. Thank you.
Okay. Permission to go to the bar. Or
Go to the bar.
Okay, thank you. And
No. Granted. How tall are they? We're talking
like
like
2
3
feet. They're 2 feet. Like they're when they are like you doing.
Do they stand
the
on top of each other? Do they stand on top
No,
of
it's
each
just
other
one
and
of
control
them.
it together?
It's just
or,
one of
or-
them, and she's
Okay.
like on the she was like on the helm console, like kind of sprawled out, like using all of her, like her arms and legs to sort of control the console. So she just kind of looks back at you. She sprawled over it, and that's when she's asking, like, are we good? Because it's kind of stressful. These weren't built for my size.
You're relieved, Ensign.
Thank you. She takes off. And she takes off to go do some other things. Your chief medical officer, Dr. Hoff, he was at a console nearby, and he just kind of turns like leisurely to you, and he says, "Well, I will take care of all the equipment that is needed. I can handle much of what needs to be done, Captain. I know that you have other people to attend to."
Thank you, Doctor.
So he takes the bridge for now, or whenever you're ready to. What your goal is you know that you have your bridge crew officers are about to be docking in a little bit, coming aboard, as well as there's just a lot of equipment. There's a lot of equipment and supplies being moved on board, because your assignment is that after you're done here, you're supposed to be going to Bajor.
Okay.
So, from there, what do you do?
I guess I'll take a look at the list of who all has already arrived on the ship, or who's still waiting to come aboard.
Yeah, you have about, like, I would say 2/3 of your crew. The last third of your crew is basically docking here. And
Okay, so
so
none of the senior staff has made it in yet. They're all still
no,
outside.
no,
Okay,
they're wherever they want to be at the moment. So we'll get to them in a
all right.
second.
I'd probably go down to the cargo bays and just kind of supervise, go through that, talk with everybody, see what the
Okay.
kind of get a feel for the temperature of the crew. You know.
Okay. The people coming in right now, like that you're seeing, just like the lower ranks crewmen, they seem pretty, enthusiastic, pretty young crew in some
Hmm.
parts. And it feels like what you do have so far has been a pretty like mixed crew, but it seems like a lot of people coming on right now. You're seeing a lot of young people. Um, and they seem very, they're excited. This is a new type of class, so they all seem to be very. What you're observing is they're all just kind of basking in the new Luna class and enjoying seeing what this is like because this is fresh to everybody.
Hmm. Okay, so I'll go around and talk with them, slap them in the back, find the ones who just came out of academy, and try to calm their nerves a little bit, or like, oh, you're coming aboard to the best ship in the fleet, kind of thing. Um,
Yeah, one of them certainly like kind of shrinks a little bit when you come near because you're the captain and they're a little like, oh, hi. They do the whole they don't know how to respond to you because they've never had a captain walk up to them.
and
Um,
I just basically responded like, head up, you are on the Shran, crewman. You are here to do good deeds and change the face of this galaxy. There's no need. I'm your captain, but I am just a man. Well, Trill.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. And they're very like, no pressure. No, and they seem to relax a little bit, but at the same time, they're a little bit like, okay, just new things added to me. And they kind of move along in the line eventually and tell you thank you. They move along in the line of like where they're, walking up to the person that's given their assignments and things like that.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm going to transition over to who will I pick? Let's skip to Maiden. Maiden, what are you doing on the station? Or pardon me,
I am
Uvana.
Ivana, yes. I am currently double checking that my sensors are all in alignment, and since this is a new class, I'm trying to understand how it compares to the last ship I was on.
Okay, so you're already getting on
So
the ship and getting to the bridge immediately. You're not on the ship yet.
going right to one of my science stations, yeah,
Okay,
which
so you just
I
reported right to
assume
the
I have
bridge.
multiple that I can go to, yeah.
All
Mhm.
right.
Either there or engineering or wherever makes sense.
Yeah, when
So,
you come aboard and all that, like Dr. Hoff greets you, and when you tell him who you are, he, of course, is like, of course, like opens it right up to you, gives you all
yeah,
the
I'm
security
very anxious
clearances.
to see my how things are set up on
It's
my
pretty state of
science
the art.
terminal.
It's
Mhm.
very it purrs like a kitten right now. It's very state of the art compared to everything you've been on lately. It's a brand new ship of the line, so it has that certain smell. It just everything smells a certain way. That'll only last for a while, but it's
The
there.
fingerprints on the
Like
terminals.
yes,
Yeah.
there's literally like there's so few fingerprints on, but there are a little bit. Like somebody had to operate it. There's little wet wipes nearby if you need to clean it. It's fine. But when you get there, it all like lights up for you, and you input your codes and things like that, and it kind of and the computer asks you, would you like to adjust systems layout? Which
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and so it runs you. It starts to like show you like all the different like you can repattern the layout as you want.
Mhm.
And one of the really cool things that it has is like a little system for like where you can put the sensor readings like in a corner. Like it's kind of like OBS. Like you just move it wherever you want instead of everything being
Mhm.
set. Maybe like in past ships it didn't have that amount of customization, but it lets you customize it based on your needs and have multiple pages. Like if you have a layout for like when you're just doing sensors, or you want to have a layout from when you're just like trying to maybe do some research, it kind of gives you a bunch of options for that.
Excellent. So I'm at this point, I'm feeling pretty giddy about being able to customize it how I like. So,
Well, excellent. And then Dr. Hoff kind of walks up after you've settled in for a few minutes and he asks,
mhm.
pretty fancy, huh?
uh, yes, doctor, I'm loving this. It, having my own setup and my own, uh, well, the ability to just have everything exactly where I want it makes me very happy.
So, would you like a tour of the ship? Anything like that? The captain's wandering around doing captain, probably welcoming new recruits or pardon me, new crewmen aboard.
Certainly, I'd love to bump into him and introduce myself.
Well, I am Dr. Hoff. I am the chief medical officer here aboard the USS Shran. I hope we will work well together as our specializations tend to come together. You know, science and medicine are the same, but medicine has its own thing. Sorry, I'm terrible at dialogue today, Chad. Um, and then he kind of as he's taking you like to the other decks, which by the way, Jared, I almost labeled deck 1 deck 0 just to make you mad. Just let me pull up your sheet. But yeah, he starts to walk you around. I'll come back to you in a second. I do want to get with let's go ahead and start with Klingon Pop Warrior now. Jagar, where are you and what are you doing at this moment on that space station before you board the USS Shran, which just docked? Like you just got you literally just got info that it docked a few minutes ago.
If I know myself, I am probably finishing up a beer at the bar.
Is anybody else at the bar? Just curious. Okay, so Nolan's at the bar too. So you're finishing up at the bar.
Because I mean, I'm the fleet liaison officer, so there's only so much I can do, but beyond, like, I'm pretty much going to be getting my office situated on the ship and,
Getting
just
settled in.
settling in a little bit, introducing myself, just seeing who I know,
Yeah.
and if I know anybody around, just kind of awaiting orders.
Yeah, because
So,
you're also getting alerts too, like on your data pad or whatever you want to use for that kind of information. You're getting dings that some other ships like I haven't come up with names for them, but some other ships have docked too that are escorting or not necessarily escorting, but they're with the Shran, and they are part of the relief and aid for Bajor. So they have also docked and started transferring a lot of cargo on board each of those ships. So that's something that would pop up to you because you're fleet liaison. Like you're the kind of person that would make sure that these things are happening. So yeah, you're getting like updates that they're starting to do their cargo transfers as well to get what they need for Bajor on board. That's here at the station at least. It's like
yeah.
this station is like the last leg of that because they've had all these ships have had to like start from Earth and go to like a couple different places just to get what they need for Bajor.
Yeah, I've probably spent some time in the loading docks and just checked in. I was checking in with folks, seeing who's doing what, but, like, I also have a lot of trust in my crew, and I know that, like, we run, for the most part, like a well-oiled machine, and so I tend to kinda leave them to their own devices as need be, and then just pop in, make sure everything is running smoothly, and then pop back out again.
Okay. And then since you're also there, Nolan, so did you take any time to get to know anybody? Like what are you doing at the bar? What's going on?
I'm arguing with the Bolian waiter
About?
or the proprietor
Okay.
about a certain thing that we agreed over a week ago that he would procure, but he's being kind of flaky.
Look. I'll tell you something, boss. I'll tell you something. I don't know where to find that. I've been trying for a whole week, okay? Look, I know I told you I said I could find it, but I'm no Ferengi. I'm not that resourceful.
I have the Latinum right here.
Look, I like Latinum too, but I'm telling you, this whole week has been just a shit show for me trying to find that.
I'm gonna look behind him at the bar if he has a bottle of a certain green liquid stashed somewhere.
Roll a... Okay, I need you to roll an insight and... command.
Insight command? All right.
Yeah, it's command for now.
Right, just complication 1?
I'm gonna say it's a difficulty of 3.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
But a complication of 1.
Because you're
right?
trying to look for something that he could very well have hidden, you know?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, complication 1. Yeah, you're fine. What did it roll? Oh, 2 1s. Okay.
Damn it.
You don't see it. You don't notice anything like that. You see green things, but they're not the thing you're looking for.
Oh, by the way, that's not scrolling.
What is going on?
Oh, sorry. Did I just...
Oh no, I was just like, what are you rolling? You're messing around.
But Buster, 2 things. That's not scrolling on the overlay, so we don't see the latest thing.
Okay, I'll fix it later. I'm not gonna worry about it today.
Yeah, and you're still on the master overlay instead of the normal.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Cool.
There we go.
So he just says, look. It's been a week. How about this?
All right.
I got some friends. You're going to Bejor, right?
Yeah.
I got a buddy over there. I'll talk to him for you, and you should have it. You should have it when you get over there. Okay. Okay.
All right.
All right.
I'm gonna pocket the Latinum. I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna go to the airlock and just head on over to the ship. I'm not just gonna.
All right.
I'm not even gonna say goodbye. It's like, no, she hasn't.
And then I'm gonna cut over to Shiv. Shiv, what are you doing?
Shiv is in his quarters.
Aboard the station or the ship?
Yeah, aboard the station.
Okay.
You said we hadn't boarded the ship yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he didn't have like permanent quarters in the station. So he's in like one of those meditation rooms that you see at the airport, kind of thing. It's like an all-purpose kind of room. You check it out for an hour.
Yeah.
He is sitting. He is sitting in a what's called a lusharok. It is like a half lotus Vulcan meditation stance.
Oh, okay.
And, in front of him is a Shira, which is the Vulcan meditation thing where you're supposed to put together blocks in a certain thing, and it has just been knocked to hell and destroyed. And he's sitting with his hands. I can't show you because I'm using push to talk. But he's sitting with his hands together in a traditional Vulcan meditation stance with his hands. With the crew's duty roster sitting on the floor next to him, that he kind of opens one eye and kind of peeks over at it occasionally, and he's just repeating certain things to himself over and over again, like, supposedly not every conflict can be solved with a phaser. Concentration is like a dilithium crystal, an intense focusing of energy, intelligence, and sensitivity. Supposedly the new captain has 2 brains. Hopefully he knows how to use one of them. And he's very clearly struggling with a level of anxiety because he's been teaching at the academy for the last couple years, and he hasn't been in active duty for a while. Okay. And something has happened in the galaxy that has caused him to re-enlist and get back out into the stars.
Okay, he gets the little bloom on his data pad that the alert that the ship is now docked. The USS Shran. Lost audio.
Oh, sorry. Like a comms call, or
Yeah, like on your data pad, like it kind of pops up, or maybe you would have like your crew roster. It kind of like a notification comes up that the ship is now docked.
gotcha. He taps his comm badge, and he says, Shiv to Shran, are you ready for boarding?
Hoff, who's about to take Ivana on, like, or at least direct her to a tour of the ship, he responds. He says, "This is USS Shran Bridge. Yeah, we are ready. We have crew already docking, or we have crew already coming aboard. Um, we're ready for you and whoever else."
Very well, I will be over momentarily. Shran out, or Shiv out.
And then he and you can disconnect. And so let's go back to Ivana. Ivana, you Dr. Hoff, like, responded to that a couple minutes ago now. By this point, he's kind of taking you to some of like the main areas for senior crew first, to like the ready, he took you by the ready room real quick, and then he took you by like the conference room. He goes ahead and kind of takes you around a little bit, and then eventually y'all get to like this massive sick bay. Like, there's a whole deck of the ship that's purely sick bay and other medical sciences, like things like like occupational, like the kind of like occupational therapy, or a counseling sector. Like they're this whole deck is medical. And then attached to that deck, he kind of says, I looked at your records and I saw that you were very good at piloting. And he takes you to where, toward the back of that deck, like toward the end of that deck, is actually like a place. It's part, because you have like one of those places where vehicles go. What's
Hangar
called?
bay.
Hangar bay. Yeah, you have like a hangar bay that's several decks tall, but it's at like the back of those decks, and it's got a slew of vehicles in it. It's got ground vehicles, of course. It's got plenty of shuttlecrafts, and it's even got like at least one or two kind of like nicer shuttlecrafts, if you know what I mean. Like, ooh, those are nice because those are fancy, like Type 11, and it's just got like a bunch of stuff, and it doesn't have any alien stuff, which is kind of, he points out, we don't have any alien systems here, but I thought maybe you'd like to see all this. And he just kind of shows you that deck, that part of the area or the ship.
I suppose I'm distracted by trying to take it all in, and as we are walking through there, I try to bring him closer to some of them so I can get a look inside, but
Yeah,
at
like
the same
he
time,
opens a couple of them up for you. Like he's just like really nice and just happy to like just have somebody else to talk to other than Nemian or Nemian. He's like, this is nice, he's showing you around. But as y'all are doing that, you and him both get a bridge alert, and it's somebody on the bridge says, bridge to senior officers. So it goes to everybody. Actually, it goes to all of y'all, because your comms at this point have been started to get transferred over as your home base is the Shran. So all 5 of you get this. So you get, bridge. Who did it? Who hit the button first? Who hit it first, guys? Who responds first?
All right. Okay. Fine. I'll do it. I actually got the badge. Right. Yeah.
We have a call from Starfleet, and it's a priority 2. I need a senior officer to. I'm in need of a senior officer, because there's no senior officers on the bridge at the moment.
Is the captain not around?
Captain's left the bridge for now.
All right. I'll head on over to the bridge, still with my bag in tow, and just.
Yeah, and the rest of you like heard this exchange. Like, y'all were senior officers, you got this. So
I was gonna say I'm like right by Voss at this point because we're both in the bar, right?
yeah.
Oh no,
You both-
I actually
Or did you left the
immediately
bar?
left the bar. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Right.
but
But
with the
you could have
scene, you
tagged
probably
along.
both kind of like left at the same time. I just was giving you
Mm.
each time to talk in the scene.
I was already just boarding the ship at this point. I'm in my head.
So yeah, so the call
right.
has been made.
I click in, and I'm like, all senior officers report to the Shran immediately for transfer for final transfer and acceptance of new orders. Ship out. And then I look over to my right with at my little exocomp buddy that's floating there, and I'm like, Shank, systems check, toothbrush, and a little toothbrush appears
Yeah.
at the front of him, and I'm like, phaser, and a phaser appears. It's like Ushan, and an Ushan knife appears, all being held by a blue hand. Like they're not just like appearing there. There's a formed hand, blue hand that's holding each one. And I just look at him. I nod. I'm like, infinite diversity and infinite combinations. Let's go. And I leave the smashed Kishera blocks and get up and head off to the ship.
And your little exocomp kind of buzzes behind you. Okay, and everybody else, are you reporting back? So like Dr. Hoff kind of looks at you, Ivana, and says, well, I guess we ought to go up to the bridge. Sorry for the tour because short, but we'll finish it later. And so
Yeah, and I think as we emerge onto the bridge, I'm just finishing telling an awkward joke about how we both spend our lives killing bugs. So and he's
he
just like,
laughs so
so-
deeply at it. He thinks it's like the funniest joke he's heard all week. And then as you're getting there, I imagine some of the others like Shiv's probably one of the first to get there because he seems like a fast guy. And then yeah, you're getting there as they're getting there. So everybody's just kind of coming together at the same time. And Captain, how did you respond to all that? What are you gonna do?
I'm just going to Nemian would just take it slow. Take it slow. Like he would be intentionally the last one to show up.
Okay.
Or try to be the last one to show up, just to see how everyone responds to this. To see once everyone comes in.
Okay.
So, he'd make sure that he's talking to everyone he passes, says hello to everyone passes, tries to get their name and tries to remember it.
Grease and palms. Yeah.
But basically like Ensign Hernandez, Lieutenant, like that kind of thing. We're just pointing and getting corrected every so often, but doing a very, very careful, slow walk, purposeful walk back to the bridge.
Okay, with that said, all of you have now arrived. Like all the rest of you except Nemian. I hope I say that right.
Nemian.
Nemian have arrived. So Ivana and Hoff, like Hoff sitting in the captain's seat until you arrive, Shiv. And he goes ahead and he gets up, and he like puts his hand out to you. He's a Zindi arboreal, so he looks kind of like like ape-like. He just kind of he does he's like, I don't know how else to greet you because this seems to be the common one, and he shakes your hand, or if he puts his hand out to shake yours.
Before I get to that, what's the bridge layout? We're in a Luna class or a Parliament class, or what are we in?
Luna. So Riker, well, it was a Riker ship on lower decks, like kind of dark, like very similar to the Enterprise bridge, but darker carpet, and just better lighting in general, not so beige. And maybe that's something like y'all have all been used to for a while, kind of like that beigey tone, those bright tones, and this is a little bit more like, it's just got more of a grayscale to it. It's not as bright and shiny. It's a bit darker.
All right.
Good,
So
'cause my complexion looks better with that.
So when Shran walks in, he first walks to the security station that's behind the captain's desk. So when the Azindi arboreal, what was his name?
Dr. Hoff.
So when Dr. Hoff gets up out of the captain's seat and looks back and looking at him, there's a moment of Oh, right. Kind of as Shiv walks down and around and shakes his hand, and kind of looks a couple different directions to see who else is here. Who else is on the bridge at this moment before we sit down?
Everybody else. Everybody else has arrived that's on the cast except Paul's character, except Nemian. And then there's also so you have like a Klingon that's in yellow with also with Commander Pips. You have somebody who looks like they're they're kind of half and half of human and Orion, so they kind of have green skin but also not, named Uvana Nakis, and she is lieutenant. And then you see Nolan Voss, who is human, and he's the bridge engineer. So you have your science officer, your bridge engineer, your fleet liaison officer, who kind of is also sort of comms, Jugar, which obviously a Klingon is a very rare sight in the fleet. There's only 2 other Klingons in the fleet aside from her. And then and then just random, various crewmen just working different consoles and whatever. And then that little one came back already, and it just walks in at that second and goes, "Ah, oh, hi." And then she just kind of walks past you and lets you have your moment with Dr. Off.
So Shran is still standing in front of the captain's seat. He hasn't actually sat down. He looks everybody over and kind of does some curt nods. He sees Voss and gives him a nod of acknowledgement. He sees Nikis and kind of checks off a box. Okay, that's that one. And then looks at Jagar and shows his teeth and does like a little kind of not a growl, but a little like an acknowledgement of fellow warrior, kind of thing, with kind of thing that if he did it to Voss, it would have scared Voss,
like a
possibly.
Yeah.
But he knows he can do it with Jagar.
And you recognize her because you were on a ship when you were with Jellicoe, I believe, or which one? Rutledge. So when you were on the Rutledge tour, well, Jellicoe was. Sorry, I got my long time, but at the end of toward the end of the Cardassian War, you saved you and the ship you were on saved a third of a crew from a ship that had crashed. Who survived she was among those survivors. She was kind of the one keeping everybody's shit together. So you know her. You're not necessarily best friends, but you probably, I would imagine, have probably a decent amount of respect for her because she held that many people, like almost 60 to 100 people, somewhere in that range, together and kept their shit together for a whole month while they were stranded.
And so he just kind of takes position standing in front of the captain's chair. He won't actually sit yet.
And then, and the rest of you, how do you react to your crew members, your crewmates? Like Nolan, where do you go and what do you do?
Well, I was wanting to, strike up a conversation with Uvana, who's like one station over.
Yeah, her console's right next to yours, yeah.
Right, yeah. But something over her shoulder keeps distracting me, so I just reach over and just do like one of those foil peels because they forgot it because the bridge is so new, and it's like
pulling off that shrink wrap, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so and then I guess the moment's gone, and I just go back to poking at the
you notice this guy awkwardly he seems like he wanted to say hi, but he just noticed something and then he realized it was weird. So Ivana, how do you respond to that?
I just say to him, no better sound in the universe than a new terminal being revealed.
I couldn't agree more.
At one point, while everybody's kind of doing their stuff, Shran is going to step forward around the helm,
Shiv,
and just like in front of the view screen, and kind of just walk the curve of the view screen, and he's going to find a space kind of off to one side, and I just like motion here, and a little pet bed is going to transport in, and the exocomp that's been kind of just hanging in the back of the bridge is going to float down and sit in the little pet bed.
Okay.
Now that completely captivates me because I've heard of those things. I've never seen one in real life, and
Yeah, it's fairly recently that it's discovered that they're kind of sentient.
Yeah, I just stare at it while it floats off and just lies down in its bed.
I'm just going to look at him. I'm just going to look at him, and I'm going to smile. And I'm like, very rare, very unique, very mine. And then go back to standing in front of the captain's chair.
Okay, Jigar, what about you?
I would probably wander over to the comms. I'm wandering over to the comm station.
Business. Okay. When you get to the comm station, there is like a message that has come in from Starfleet, and it's just kind of like blinking on the console. But and again, it's a priority 2, so it's up to y'all if y'all want to wait for the captain to look at what this message says. So I'll kind of
so it's just a message. It's not a comms.
Yeah, it's a message because we'll just say they're on hold. That's probably better. I just meant like I just really meant like it's blinking. It's just blinking and waiting for y'all to answer.
Oh.
Yeah, the admiral's on hold. It's fine. It's fine.
Right.
I was gonna say, do we know who it is?
What's the blonde admiral in TNG? How you say her last name? Thank you, Nechayev. It's Nechayev.
No. All right, so I'll go ahead and motion over to Jakar, and he goes, "Well, let's not keep the admiral waiting on screen."
So yeah, I would go ahead and answer that hail.
And when you answer it, Nechayev is on the other side, and she says, "USS Shran," and she kind of looks like at you, Shiv, and she kind of takes a second, and she says, "Where is Captain?" How would you say? By the way, how would you say a trill's like? Is it Captain Burrs or is it Captain?
Captain Burrs.
Okay, okay, that's what I want to know. Okay,
that's the host is or the symbiote.
Right, I didn't know what was the protocol there. Like if you go by the host's name or the person's name. Okay.
Well, it's Lieutenant Dax. Like Jadzia Dax is Lieutenant Dax, so it would make sense. Yeah.
Funny you mentioned that name. So Admiral Nechayev, she says, "Where is Captain Burrs?"
The captain is no doubt suitably occupied with his duties.
And then he walks in.
Yeah, walk in at that point.
And I look over to him, and I'm like, as if summoned himself. Captain Burrs, Admiral Nechayev on the screen. And I step to the left over to my seat. Still standing.
You're lieutenant commander or commander?
It's commander.
Commander
And commander for yeah. And then we got a lieutenant and an ensign. So there you go. But yeah, she's sitting there.
He nods and goes, "Commander Shiv," and then looks over and goes, "Admiral Nechayev, sorry to keep you waiting. I was orienting the new crew."
Time is of the essence, Captain. We have a priority 2 command or a mission. You must, as soon as possible, get to Risa.
Yes.
Priority 2 to Risa. That sounds a lot more like
Curzon Dax is dying. You have aboard. One of the people you're picking up today is Jadzia, who is a trill on her way to Bajor. She is taking passage upon this ship. However, it is time for her to take on the Dax host. Not a timetable we expected, but we need you and the Shran to get her to Risa as soon as possible. And I hope that Dr. Hoff, and she looks at him, is good enough at performing a trill transfer or a symbiotic transfer. And then Dr. Hoff, he's just like, of course, I have many. I have a decent amount of knowledge on the subject, and I believe that there's enough trill medical staff among us on the ship that I would have all the staff that I need to get this done if we are the ones who need to do it. And she says, absolutely, you must go there as soon as possible. How long do you have left on your supply loading? Sorry, I'm trying to think of words out of character. But she has.
Finishing up.
And what
Okay.
and that answer on like after you look at like some stuff real quick, whatever you're gonna do, you have roughly an hour of loading left, but you were supposed to like hang out there for like a whole day and give everybody kind of time to get on and settled in, but you can like really you have about 4 hours of loading left, but you can probably, if you really put your people together, get it done in under an hour. So there you go.
Like
I
I feel like
will. Go ahead.
I feel like Shiv would have that information.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So there you go.
As that would have been a first officer response. So
Absolutely.
So he just kind of speaks up. He goes. He'll say as much. He'll say that the Shran is scheduled for another day of activities, at least 4 hours of loading. But with a competent crew and efficient scheduling, we can be ready to ship in an hour.
Excellent. Time is of the essence. You must get to Risa as soon as possible.
Well, regardless of the reasons, we will do our best, and I'm sure the crew will be very happy to hear their first assignment is on Risa. Thank you, Admiral.
How do you say her name again? One more time.
Nechayev.
Nechayev. I can never get. I see it in my mind, and it doesn't come out that way in my mouth. Nechayev, out, and then she, closes the comms. So
after she closes the comms, I turn to Shiv and go, "You let the admirals hang up first. Otherwise, you hang up first. That's the rules."
Gonna kind of nod, and you see him making a note.
Okay, so you have your goal set in front of y'all. You need to get your crew, not only your crew, but also all your equipment, everything else on board. Because Risa's kind of like, we'll say from here, Risa's kind of mostly on the way to Bajor. It's like if this is, where you are and Bajor, and here's the straight line, like Risa's kind of like makes it a bit of a triangle, So it's not terribly off course. And roughly from here, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say roughly from here, depending on what warp, like if you were to go maximum warp, you would probably take about 12 hours to get to Risa. Just for information.
So I feel like as the call ended, what Shiv would do is nodding to the captain that he's going to do this. He goes, he would call for Voss and operations officers on the bridge to follow him down to the loading docks and everything to change the timetable and get us underway in an hour.
Fleet liaison officer, how do you want to chime in on that one too?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so that engineering can go take care of business and get the ship ready, I can actually head down to the loading docks and get the crew in order. The lower deckers know me pretty well, and I'm pretty good at getting them off their butts and getting rid of buffer time. So we can get this done, I think.
Damn it, I was relying on buffer time.
I love that.
As Voss says that, I just put up and says, in an emergency, there is no buffer time.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, Captain.
Right. Then I'm just going to look at them and be like, do your jobs, do them well, and bid them off.
Okay.
I imagine Dr. Hoff has a lot of. Is it Hoff?
Yeah, Hoff.
Is it always both?
He
Hoff,
doesn't
Hoff,
mind
okay.
Hoff. That's fine. For people.
It's
that
his
are cool.
first name Hoff and last
he tells
name
you
Hoff?
you could call me Hoff. Like he tells you that. He's only told you that.
He's huge in Germany.
Yeah, he's huge in Germany.
All right, so I offer to Hoff to help him kind of get the sick bay organized, because I'm sure there's a lot more equipment going
they have
through
so
there
much.
than anywhere else.
Yeah,
or not anywhere else, but anywhere I'd be associated with. So
he immediately he's like, yes, that would be wonderful, and he takes you with him, and he kind of like he already showed you the layout of sick bay a little bit, so you kind of have an idea. And the biggest challenges down in sick bay are more of like a lot of calibrating needing to happen, especially like his biggest concern. He tells you, my biggest concern with this is calibrating everything so correctly for the symbiote transfer. This is a very delicate process, and I just want to make sure we get this right. Dax is a very infamous symbiote, so we don't want to be the one that kills him. So, and then he asks for your assistance in basically like calibrating the med beds specifically for that surgery.
Just so I get this straight, this is Curzon
Dying.
dying and going to Jadzia, not Jadzia dying and going to Ezri.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh God, we're not that far along. No.
No, because you said
You think
Jadzia
I'd
was
skip
dying.
the Dominion War? Like, come on.
No, you said Jadzia was dying, and I was confused.
No, I'm sorry. I meant Curzon is dying. Curzon is
okay.
dying.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Jadzia is, and actually, at that point, Jadzia does like report to sickbay. She walks in, and she tells Dr. Hoff. She says, I just heard the news. I'm here. You know, she's a different person when she didn't have the symbiote. She went through a very harsh symbiotic process, or symbiote, whatever it's called, the academy. She went through a very harsh process with that. So she clearly is a little like, whoa, it's happening. This is happening. So she seems very nervous, and she's just like, I don't know. Like, do you need me? And Dr. Hoff, I'm role-playing with myself now. Dr. Hoff says, we will. Why don't you assist us in making sure we have this calibrated for you? And that seems to settle her a little bit to do something that is a bit more in her wheelhouse than freaking out.
I suppose then I would I would apply both control and science to calibrate this.
Yes. Why don't you go ahead? Yeah, use your focus. You have yes on the focus, but go ahead and roll a science and control. Yeah.
Control. Okay.
Because this kind of comes a little bit in the computer system. So, and I'm going to say it's like a difficulty of 2. Like, it's not very hard. And then go ahead and hit that task roll button when you're done setting all that. See, okay, now y'all have a momentum to the momentum pool, by the way.
Excellent.
On each of your sheets, add 1 momentum to your pool.
Click the leftmost empty cell so it fills out.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Excellent. And she, she assists too, which would have resulted in her rolling 1, but you're fine. She assists in that, and she kind of has a lot of small talk with y'all about how she's, how she's been waiting for this. She just didn't expect it to come so suddenly. She figured that Curzon had at least 5 to 10 years left in him, if not more. And then I'm going to switch scenes real quick to, so Captain, you're on the bridge.
I'd wait for them to all file out, but I'd probably do my best to go down. Well, I had a plan. I was gonna call any of the other ships in the fleet that were going to Bajor and talk to the captains and see if they couldn't spare some hands to help us move faster.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But go ahead and roll me a presence command.
Okay. Focus, no focus.
And I feel like after Jagar spoke up to her part, I would have stayed on the bridge because I'm like, oh well, I'm not needed in this thing, so I'll be there with Beers.
Okay, and so, yeah, and then what are your focuses?
Large spacecraft, astronavigation, helm operations, persuasion, diplomacy.
And diplomacy. Those fall under that. So yeah, you get a focus.
Okay. What's the difficulty?
It's literally like a 2. It's not going to be very hard.
Unless I screw it up.
Yeah, you're fine.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Each of the other ships, they're going to continue loading and taking the time to get to Bajor because y'all are the only ones called to Bajor. So they have no problem like just putting their stuff on hold for a little while just to focus on y'all. So pretty much like all the moving crews, without it being a huge mess down there of too many people, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they put all of like their moving equipment and everything towards y'all, and y'all are basically able to get it done in under like an hour and a half. Like you said, like you're okay now. So does anybody else have anything you want to do before you take off?
No, I would just stay on the bridge, kind of monitoring, monitoring the panels, on Jagar's progress and on Nikis's progress. and stuff down there. And when we're ready to disembark, I would just let the captain know that we're ready.
Yeah, and you're also
And then-
getting like updates every so often. Like somebody's like sent like a ticker to you of updates on Curzon. Like it's just giving you like at the end of the hour it tells you like he's stable, but it is very much like he must have a transfer within about 18 hours. Like it must happen.
Yeah, Shiv is he's still standing in front of the chair, like he's like leaning over and like hitting the pad. It's really awkward.
Mm-hmm.
He's not in a place of comfort at
He's
this
still
moment.
standing in front. Is he standing in front of the XO chair, or is he?
Yeah, he's standing in front of the XO chair. He's standing in front of the XO chair, using the panel and reading, basically giving you the updates.
Yeah.
Giving that we're on track. We'll be ready. We'll be
Report.
ready in 30
Yeah.
minutes. We'll be ready in
Yeah.
10 minutes.
After about the third time, the captain will raise his hand and go, "Commander Shiv, where are you be most comfortable right now?"
I'm comfortable here, Captain.
Go to the security desk or sit down, one of the two.
I'll just he'll consider for a second. He goes, there are more display panels at the security console, and he'll walk behind and stand at the security console, and just like he's got like the fucking triple monitor thing going now,
Yeah.
and he just, his shoulders kind of untense just a little bit.
Yeah, just a hair, just a little smidge.
And Jagar is making a note to thank the captain personally for getting Shiv off her ass.
Goes into the
I
personal
suppose-
log entry.
Yeah.
And
that?
when we're ready, he'll let the captain know that the ship is ready to depart,
All right.
and call for the bridge crew back to their stations.
And Ivana, what were you
One
gonna say?
one last thing I do in sick bay is I just try and reassure Jadzia,
Mhm.
mainly as an aside. It's awesome to talk to Jadzia Dak, or Jadzia before she goes.
And
Yeah,
somewhere in
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, like I said, Jadzia's personality, if you've seen DS9, like she is not near the amount of confidence that she had that you're used to seeing her on
Right.
screen. So she's very like, thank you so much. It's so like I really appreciate it. Like doing this kind of motion a lot because she's just like she really is just very surprised by all this, and she's like excited but nervous. You can tell. And you're somebody who's been like around a lot of people and a lot of situations and a lot of things. Like you can see that tension in her, but it's like nervous energy. It's nervous, it's happy, it doesn't know what she's just very, this is wild. It's like going into labor unexpectedly or something, just like, whoa, I don't know how to deal with this. So she's extremely grateful to you for being like comforting to her.
And I suppose one thing I say to her is, I can only imagine what it's like to potentially become a whole new person, but I kind of went through that going from being in a smuggling crew in the Orion Syndicate to joining up with Starfleet, and
Oh,
Just-
wow.
just as you go through this, just trust in yourself that you can hold on to what's most dear to you while also taking on all these new aspects of yourself.
I'll keep that in mind. And she kind of, says thank you. And she says, I think I'm going to go before all this happens. I think if it's okay with, and then she looks over at Dr. Hawk, if it's okay with you, I think I'm going to go see where I can be useful for a little while. I think that'll help me take my mind off of some of this. And then Dr. Hoff agrees and says, of course, there's a wonderful recreation deck. Go take all the time you need, but I will need you here a minute. Don't eat anything. You cannot eat anything for the rest of the day. Go ahead and he just basically tells her to just chill and go do what she wants to do and to check in with him every couple of hours, And then she she says okay, and then she goes down to the rec deck, which is right below actually just so y'all know, y'all also have a very expansive recreation deck because you do aid and relief. There will be times where some of the best things that people that are in awful situations can experience is just some relaxation. So you have a very, very like interesting and beautiful layout for your recreation deck compared to maybe other ships because of your mission.
Nice.
So, and so she kind of goes and calms down there for a little bit. And then, yeah, once you're all back on the bridge, oh, by the way, Nolan, what were you doing through all this? Sorry, I kind of washed over you.
Well, right after Commander Schiff ordered me to go and help with the transfers, I grabbed my bag that I've been holding on to just because I hadn't had time to get to my quarters yet, and I put it next to his exocomp and go guard, and then I'll go do help with the transporters and the like. So, and when I come back, I'll just walk over to the exocomp and grab the bag and take it back to my station and shove it in a corner, just so it's always with me.
Yeah, you end up like doing like if you're going to the transporters and stuff, they end up having you operate like one of the larger transporters that gets a lot of things or a lot of gear at once. And so once you transfer something in, they kind of move it to where it needs to be or have you transport it to where they want it. But generally with those larger transports, it needs to go to one place where there's two transporter pads meshing instead of
and then they use the either hand trolleys or the small tractor beams to move it off.
Yeah, and like you got people running pallets. So you do, and the ship goes down a few power because of all this activity, but at the same time, like you are hooked to a dock. So what's going on is, y'all have lost like a decent amount of power. I'll say like y'all have 15 power total, and through like kind of speeding this process, we'll say you're down to a 10 because you had to do a lot of power just to get everything on. So with all that said, eventually everybody makes it back to the bridge into their positions. And Captain, you have the floor.
Captain will turn to what is the name of our navigation officer?
Lieutenant Lolo. Lolo. Like Lolo.
Okay.
It's this character is totally based on my dog.
Now. It's YOLO now.
Yeah, it's YOLO now.
YOLO. Okay, I'm fine with it. YOLO. No, like I said, she's from just for an aside real quick. This is kind of a thing I'm working on like right now. I'm still working her out, but she's from a fairly new Federation race called the Papit, and they are very small creatures. They generally don't get any taller than 3 feet. And they're monkey-like in their movement, like the way they move their bodies, but they don't necessarily look monkey-like. They kind of look, they like got like kind of varying colors of skin, like purple, blue. They have some interesting hair types and things like that, and like really big eyes, like I don't know. Think of something between like Yoshi from Mario and like Puss in Boots. Kind of like those ideas sort of mesh together a little bit. She's based on my dog Weedle. But they have very small starships compared to everybody else because they're so small. But their specialty is actually they have very, very fast response times compared to everybody else. Like they just process things a lot faster and mentally, but also they really have a lot of like interesting technology in regards to sort of nanotechnology. Like making very small things because they're small. They have to make it like their microchips are like a lot smaller than everybody else's microchips, for example. So they're kind of like the Federation's sort of excited to have them around because they're going to kind of bring like a whole new like things like positronic, whatever his brain is, like things like that kind of really intricate work comes very naturally to them. And so there's other details, but I have some of them worked out, some of them I'm debating on. So that's the basics that are worked out. And so she's like,
Got a question for Risa, and I'll turn over Mr. Voss.
Yes, Captain.
I want as much power to our engines as possible. We want to get there as fast as possible. Do you understand that, both of you?
Yes, Captain.
I got it.
I'll check with my engineering console to see what our recommended maximum warp is, because new ship engine hasn't been run in yet. So can we go to red line, or do we need to keep it?
Baker, run the horses there, Mr. Voss.
I think he's saying let's go really fast.
Yes, Lieutenant, as fast as possible.
All right, push it down, things.
Right. I'll crank it up to 11. No, wait, that one.
The warp 11 thing. Dude, it's a ghost. Are you okay? Do they
No. I guess my sound effects are completely busted. So yeah.
Just like a bunch of stuff went off of his console for a second. And
Ross, are you okay?
Yeah, Captain. I just someone's been messing with the sound effects on my console. Everything's fine. It's just making the wrong noises.
Shiv is gonna walk up to the engineering console and reach over Voss and just hit a button that resets everything to default. And it's just like, defaults were invented for a reason after decades of intense research and testing. Don't customize unless you know what you're doing.
I turn my shoulder slightly to block Shiv's view of my terminal, and just go about my business.
And then walks back to his station.
And there we go. Proper sound effects now.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Oh gosh, I haven't even thought of what he would say yet. I guess do it.
Make it choo-choo.
Do it.
Yeah, whoop whoop. No.
Yeah.
If you got to think about that, it's fine.
Yeah, I gotta think about that.
Yeah. I've had that debate with myself many times. I know how hard of a debate that is. So yeah, and then YOLO, I guess is her name now. She's like, go! And then she just hits the buttons, and she gets very excited when the ship goes fast. That seems to be the thing she likes the most. She kind of, yeah, we're going real fast. She sings a lot of songs at the console about going fast in space right now. So after a while, she picks up on that. She does it quietly. So y'all are on the journey. If y'all want to take a quick break, if anybody wants to take like a 2-3 minute, like a 5 minute to go use restroom or whatever. We'll come back in a few minutes and we can, start we're getting to the 2-hour mark in about half an hour. So I kind of want to start wrapping up around there.
Sure. All right.
I want to add real quick that as when the captain hesitates to give his "let it make it go" phrase, that the ship just kind of speaks like because he's still at the security console, so just kind of over his shoulder, he just goes, "Light the fire."
It's so lit. Oh, it's lit AF. I got it.
when Shiv says that, after he says "do it," he kind of turns around and goes, "Commander Shiv."
Yes, Captain.
Do you still practice Vulcan meditation?
Practice would be an excellent word for it, Captain.
You should probably continue to do so.
I will continue to light the fire of the Vulcan meditation.
I thought Vulcans didn't like fire. I thought they liked the logic. I guess they don't like anything because they don't like fire. I don't know. I'll stop
Lieutenant
commenting.
YOLO, Lieutenant YOLO, have you ever been to Vulcan?
I have a cousin who goes there sometimes.
It is very warm on Vulcan.
Oh.
The fire is very much their element.
Oh, I thought they were cold-blooded though. Oh, wait. I get it now. I get it. I figured it out. It makes sense. Thank you, Captain. You were so educational. Maybe you should teach classes.
I did once. It didn't go well.
And with that, I'll let y'all take like a quick 5 or something if you need to go use the restroom or go get a drink or something. Because I need to go get a water for sure.
To 6 Forward and hang out with my buddy, the bartender, who I pulled some strings and got the job on the ship that I posted to, because we met over at the academy and we were at one of the bars that he was bartending there.
Okay.
I'm just gonna chat away with him.
All right. And then anybody else? What are y'all doing? Like y'all have downtime to get settled in or whatever you want to do.
As
I was-
Voss, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was thinking that maybe I should go see if Shiv wants to go to the holodecks and maybe run a fight program, just because he seems real high strung.
I feel like Shiv would thank her for her generous offer and everything, but state that he still needs to inspect every deck of the ship, and make, because we had a rush departure. He needs to go through and basically check every door that's supposed to be sealed, every airlock that's supposed to be tight, and just basically spend the 12 hours in a nonstop inspection of every aspect of the ship that could conceivably lead to disaster because it was rushed or whatnot. But he would do that after going to Voss's workstation and ensuring that it was still set to default. And then walking into the captain's ready room and leaving a data pad with a treatise on a 4-shift rotation for him to read later. And then he would proceed to basically inspect every other, basically every aspect of the ship that he could possibly get to in 12 hours.
Okay. So what do you do when he refuses? Like he's like, oh, thanks anyway. There, Jagar.
Well, at that point, I was in the bar at the station at the station and overheard Voss, and I like getting into trouble, and this seems like there might be a little trouble. So I'm gonna hold back a little bit, but I also am I probably followed him back to his room at that point and just keep like and but then kept going and went ahead onto my own room and then started just kind of unpacking.
Okay.
I don't have much to unpack though, because I lost pretty much everything years ago, and I've just sort of learned that, oh, did I freeze?
No,
I
you're
didn't.
fine.
That holding on to things is just not something that I do. So other than a batleth and a family ducktag, I'm pretty easy, and
Yeah.
it just kind.
Yeah, all your rooms like come with like little custom, like you can change the colors of the lighting. You know, there's all these little like amenities to like kind of customize your room without necessarily like your senior officers' quarters without necessarily like changing the whole. Like you obviously can move the furniture, but you know it's like you can kind of customize it. So that's something you can also be doing is like sort of setting your lighting the way you like and your presets.
Yeah, full house RGB.
Yeah,
As Shiv enters
he turns
crew
off all the
quarters
RGBs.
that are unassigned, he's resetting everything back to default.
By the way,
RGB.
Shiv, roll me an insight command. And I'm gonna say it's a difficulty of 5 because I'm torturous. But go ahead, and if you want to, you have 1 momentum. You could spend that on an extra die. This is for your
Uh,
search. This is for your search
When you
to
say
find.
you say difficulty, you mean the complication range?
The complication range is separate from the difficulty. I'm not going to put a complication range on it. It's not like it's going to cause like the life support to go off or that kind of like complications like, oh, you know, you may have succeeded, but like you or you had like a little loss there, so there's something that like now a disadvantage has been created for you, that kind of thing. So
Difficulty just means how many points you need to roll
how many
to
successes you
succeed.
need. So you can, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
you can buy another die with the momentum if you'd like, where you can roll 3.
How do I buy another die?
That's all you do is just mark it off the momentum sheet. So now y'all are down to 0 momentum.
And then in the task roll, click on 3 before you roll it.
Yeah.
So you roll 3 dice.
Like go to a 3.
Okay, hold on.
I just wanted to get 1 5 in there. Oh, okay. You find everything seems just fine. You totally didn't find that little piece of carpet that seemed a little crooked. Everything looks great to you. And by the way, momentum buys, I just real quick, I do want to say I wanted to show y'all like a momentum buy real quick through that action, but I wanted to say that those can be bought after you rolled. So if you rolled like not what you wanted to roll, right? You didn't have enough success, you could say, "Hey, wait, I'm going to buy one before my turn's over," and that kind of thing. So the momentum doesn't have to be like called out before you make the roll. You can actually do the roll, see how you do, and then use a momentum buy. And momentum buys, like we'll talk about, I'll put up a cheat sheet for momentum buys eventually for y'all in the notes. But yeah, like there's a bunch of stuff you can do with momentum.
So if you want 1 extra die, you spend 1 momentum. If
I
you
think it's
want
like 1
2
or
extra
2.
dice, it's 3.
Yeah. It's like it keeps expounding.
Yeah, and if you want 3, it's all 5.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to change something about my character sheet to be the first officer, aren't I?
You know, it's technically, but I'm not gonna put it on. Like, I'm not gonna make you, really. I thought about that while we've been playing, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make you do it.
What bothers me the most about this is you have a perfectly good seat next to the captain as the first officer, but the security station is behind. So what are will you be jumping over, depending on what your
Extreme
task
Riker
is?
maneuvers to sit back
Yes.
down. Yeah. You'll put him to shame.
You'll
We
just
all have to
wait
duck
find
every
out.
time.
Shiv is going to attempt to do all of his duties from the security station. It's got more screens. It's got more
This is true.
visibility. It allows him to stand. It allows him a wider view of the bridge. It prevents him from becoming complacent. Seats just lead to complacency
It's like more tactical.
and a dulling of alertness. He just firmly believes that he can do his job better. Don't be surprised if the pet bed ends up in the commander's seat at some point.
Oh yeah,
Well,
by the way, the
I-
exocomp's just been chilling like the whole freaking
Yeah.
time.
I posted a layout of the bridge in chat, so people can decide where they want to station themselves.
Basically, there will come a point in the adventure where Shiv feels comfortable enough with the captain to ask him if Shank can just sit in the chair.
Yeah.
Just so I'm picturing it
But
right,
he's
is
not there yet.
Exocomp like that character in
Yeah, peanut hamper in Lower Decks.
Lower Decks? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it is the little octagonal, boxy,
Right. ended up
floaty
being-
robot.
I have a picture of my particular one in the
Yeah.
characters. Can you guys see
Actually,
it?
I'll just share that sheet out to like everybody. Why not? Because it's.
If you guys can see it,
Let me see.
Ooh.
you can see Shank in the character list.
Oh,
Let me share it to everybody. Show to players. Character sheet and bio info. Where
Is that video ninja that keeps freezing some of us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
This
Just
is-
making sure it's not
You're
me.
not
Right.
freezing on my end at all. I would let you know if you were.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like all of a sudden I just stop and then it like catches back
yeah.
up.
It's not happening on my end, so that's
Probably Discord.
probably.
yeah, probably the share. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, so and what else? Like, so one of y'all is at the bar. No one's at the bar. A couple of y'all like one of you went to quarters. That was Jagar. Shiv went and did an inspection. Uvana and what do you think you're up to? Just
Um,
still down in sick bay? You're up at your console. What do you want to do?
Probably still just since I seem to have hit it off with uh Dr. Hoff, just hanging out there and trying to be useful.
Yeah, he keeps putting you to work. But also he's getting to know you. Like he tells you, like, he's been a doctor for a long time, and he's seen a lot of different types of people. And one of the reasons he was assigned to this specific assignment is because he just has such a wide range of knowledge when it comes to multiple people and, like, their what is their anatomy, all that stuff. But in particular, he has a lot of experience with some Bajorans that he was on another mission where they saved a group of Bajorans who were on, in a ship that there were some Bajorans like Laren and people like that who had gotten out in the world away from Bajor and things like. So he's dealt with many Bajoran, not many, but he's dealt with enough Bajorans compared to other Starfleet officers that he has like that posting because of this first mission. And also he's just a good doctor, so he tells you a little bit about his past and his history, and it's just long and storied, and he's really sweet, and he clearly has a lot of like interesting hobbies. He's been really into building starships inside of jugs lately, so because he's got a steady hand. He's primarily a surgeon. That's kind of like his great specialty in life is surgery, and some xenobiology and things like that. But he puts you to work the whole time. Like he's like there's a lot to do with the sick bay before they get to Bajor, so he's totally welcoming any assistance you bring to help them get things, especially equipment, ready, especially equipment that's going to the Bajorans, because there's some equipment that's going to be left with the Bajorans that needs to be kind of sort of set up for them. And the plan was to do this, but since they're just on a journey, y'all are already like going somewhere. He's like, okay, let's just do this since we're around. But yeah, and there's like a huge like medical staff on this ship. There's two women in particular. One is they're both they're actually sisters, and they're both what are they, Tellarite? They're Tellarite, and they're very like attached at the hip. They do everything together, and he seems to like let that flow like happen. He doesn't want to like they can be very combative once in a while, like as what you've seen through your interactions with him, through like if one of them kind of like, hey, that won't work, the other one will back her up, and they're very much a team, and he respects that, but he also is like, I just kind of like, they're very efficient. They're literally some of the most efficient doctors I've ever met in my life, and I just don't want to disrupt it. I don't want to disrupt it. I just ask him something once in a while, and they do it, and that's all I need from him. He's very fascinated with them, but at the same time, there's not like he fears them, but he kind of is like, because if you don't know, Tellarites can be a bit they're very staunch when they feel a certain way about something. So they both exhibit that to a T. And then yeah,
I feel like it's some.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, sorry.
No, please.
I feel like at some point in my inspection, I would end up in sick bay.
Like, cause you're. Oh yeah. I was like, cause you hurt yourself. No, yeah.
No, because I'm inspecting everything.
Yeah, while Ivana's there, yeah.
Ivana's there, and I would just kind of like trills are still relatively new to
Right.
the Federation, I think, to the knowledge of them and how they work, and Shiv is pretty anti-science in general, so he's not going to understand a whole lot about what's going on here. So he's just going to kind of slowly saddle up next to Uvana and be like, do you have everything that you need?
Everything is proceeding as well as it can here. Thank you,
Just kind of nod and wave at Jedzia and be like, I've heard there are books on the subject that can help. And he'll like reach over onto her pad and he'll like pull up So You're Having a Baby by Dr. Spock.
She takes this pad and she kind of looks at it and she kind of looks at you with this look like,
There's also in Everybody Poops. It's highly recommended at times like this. And
Thank you,
it's just
Commander.
like, you all look like you have everything settled, underway. I can get out of your hair.
And then a bowling kind of looks at you really like dirty because he doesn't have hair, and he's like, "How dare you?" But he doesn't say anything. Like he's like, "That's the commander. I'm just gonna growl." Actually, there is somebody aboard this ship that comes by the bar, Nolan, and it's
Mhm.
he's not in uniform. He looks like a civilian, and he saddles up to your bartender, and he says something along the lines of, just pour me just pour me what's popular today. And the bartender, your friend, just says, okay, and pours him like something like a rise, like probably a Ryzen drink. So a rise is kind of on everybody's brains. Not that there's many people in the bar, like everybody's kind of busy, like getting settled in. That's not been here already. And he kind of looks
So
over at you.
I know the bartender, so he's gonna go for one of the cocktails from Risa that have a very significant meaning. Like if you present this sort of cocktail to another person, it's very suggestive of what your intentions are. But because he's a prankster, but that is sort of the knowledge that you need to be from Risa or a frequent
You're
visitor
testing
to
the guy.
Risa.
You're testing the guy.
Yeah, testing the guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's called Jamath Throne.
Yeah, he takes this drink, and he just looks at the bartender and he says, hey there. And the bartender looks at you, and then he goes, and then he realizes, like it takes him a second after you ask, like, and the guy said what he said. He realizes, and he goes, "Oh no! You asked for a drink, and he was the one who ordered it for you." And then he looks over at you, and he's like, "Hey,
No. I'm just saying the bartender.
Oh,
does
okay,
this.
you control the bartender.
The bartender does this. Yeah.
Okay,
and he will go the entire way.
Okay, so he just looks at the
prank.
bartender and he just says, "Hey, I don't know if you meant to make me this, but it's cool." And he just kind of he's like, "I'll drink it, but that doesn't mean I have to do anything, right?" Bartender.
Totally up to you. The bartender just said totally up to you.
Maybe I'll call you later. And then he like slams a bunch of it, and he sees you and Nolan, and he kind of says, "Oh, you're new. Hi, you're one of the new people. Hi."
Hello. And I'll you see me having this drink from the same shaped glass, so as if
he's like, "This is a really popular bartender. I can see." And then he just
gonna smirk into my glass as I finish it off.
He just kind of puts a hand out, and he looks at your hair in particular. What does your hair look like? Is it really long?
No, it's short and slicked back, so it's not poking up, but it's kind of
yeah.
Yeah,
it's kempt, right? It's pretty kempt up. Yeah, it looks like it's not too shaggy.
Nothing hobo like this.
Yeah, he shakes your hand, and he kind of sort of like pulls you like so almost by the elbow to kind of look at your cut. He's like, "Come see me when you need a haircut. I'm down near the recreation decks." And then he gives you a card. He actually gives you a card. It's like a space age card, so it's all cool and stuff. It's almost like a mini data pad.
And holographic.
Yeah, and yeah, puts out a little hologram, does all this crazy stuff. And his card says Rigofa Valise. Barber, and it tells you like where he's located on the ship, but he's the ship's barber, and he's very like he's himself. I haven't decided if he's Ryjan, so I think I'm just gonna say he's Ryjan now since we're going to Risa. So yeah, he's Ryjan, and he's just very like yeah, and he just kind of slams his drink. He's like, "Well, I got a few appointments. I just if you need a haircut or you know anybody else that does, come send it to me. I'm not Starfleet, but I work for Starfleet here. So if you need anything, it's all free of
This
charge.
is a bit odd. So, just Buster, this would be one of the barbers, and he's just like one of the privately contracted ones.
He's
'Cause
he's the person who basically runs a salon.
okay.
He's just, it's too special. It's we'll talk about it later, but he runs essentially a small salon in the recreation deck, like nails, hair, all that stuff, feet, whatever you need done, massages. Again, the recreation deck is kind of geared toward, like, y'all deal with a lot of aid and relief. You need a lot of space for people to just hang out and do things and get things done.
So it is
because-
mini Risa.
Yeah. But anyway, he kind of goes on his way. I just want to introduce that NPC real quick.
Mhm.
So
Uh,
with it, and then go ahead.
Yeah. I just go. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
As he
And
leaves,
he just
I
kinda,
just.
he kind of like, he walks with a certain rhythm,
Mm.
But anyway, after that's done, Captain, do you have anything?
Not
Everybody's
really.
kinda-
If
you just
I was
hang-
going to say,
hanging out in the
if
bridge,
everyone
bed
else,
room?
if everyone left, yeah, if everyone else left the bridge, then I would probably be.
Yeah, you're really
'cause
settled into the ship. You've been on it for a while now.
Yeah. Is the exocomp still next to me?
He's on a little bed that's near the view screen,
Yeah, it's right in front of the view screen, like
off to the
Like-
corner of it, right?
at the bottom 2% of the lower left-hand corner of the view screen is obstructed by.
Yeah, he's just chilling,
Okay.
Probably
Does he have
kinda-
a cute little robotic snore?
Yes.
No, he's
Oh.
actually manifested a data pad in front of him, and he's reading up on Rysian lore.
Mm.
And-
So
and
he's like
history.
in bed, like on his cell phone.
yeah. He's studying Rysian cultural aspects.
And
Right now.
it's held with a blue hand again, right?
Yeah, with
Absolutely,
the blue hand that comes
there's a
out.
blue hand holding a pad, and it is just reading.
Is it like an Andorian blue hand, or is it like a?
Absolutely, an Andorian blue hand.
Ah.
And if you held it up real close to
Little
the
tiny.
Shiv, it would be exactly Shiv's hand.
Oh.
He'll strike up a conversation with YOLO a little bit and ask, do you think that the exocomp has actually hands, or is it some sort of manifestation? Is there a tiny Andorian trapped inside that metal box?
I can't take offense to that, Captain. You don't have to be tiny to be trapped in something.
It's very small. I mean, I don't know who else who would be. Would you be able to fix inside that exocomp, Lieutenant YOLO?
YOLO kind of walks up to it, and she just looks at it. Hi. And she's like as big
Yeah.
as it's like wider than her. Like they're like the same size. They're like buddy. They look like
Yeah.
they could be in a buddy cop movie
The
together.
size of a golden retriever.
Oh, it is? Is that big? Oh, well, tallness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. I'm like,
As
"Dang."
YOLO approaches, the hand drops the data pad and reaches up to her like for a handshake.
She kind of shakes it, like it's like all yeah. She reaches out and she kind of has like these little weird grippers on her fingers, almost like suction cups, like little tiny ones. But she reaches over and it's like, hi.
And then the hand is like cousin. It's like what was it, cousin it?
Yeah.
It's now like padding along the floor trying to find the data pad.
No,
that's
it's-
outside
She
the
hands
it's
it. She helps
thing,
him
it's
get
thing.
to it. Yeah.
thing.
No,
thing.
it's
Yeah, cousin.
Oh yeah, cousin, it's the one with the
Because
hair.
it's the hairy
It's
one.
the hairy
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
It was the hair.
Yeah.
It picks it up and it goes back to reading.
Okay, yeah, and she kind of like when he's kind of flopping around looking for it, she kind of like helps him get like she lifts it to his hand.
Does a little like swirl with the pad, like thank you, like it doesn't want to drop it again. It does like a "Ooh, thank you."
And then she just looks at the captain. She says, "It looks like it's working right." To me, at least. Yeah, it looks great. What'd you ask?
Well, don't worry about it, Lieutenant YOLO.
Okay.
He stands up, kind of adjusts his uniform, says, Lieutenant YOLO, you have the con. I will be in my ready room. And he walks over to the ready room to inspect the data pad that Shiv has left.
Okay. Shiv, what have you left in that data pad for him?
It's a couple things. One is a overly long treatise about the benefits of switching a ship to a 4-shift rotation
Oh.
as opposed to the standard 3-shift rotation. It is also his ship's entire duty Starfleet record, including commendations from previous captains, as well as a he doesn't hide it,
Reprimand.
a reprimanded discommendation from a young Captain Picard on the USS Stargazer.
Oh.
And we'll just say another copy of Everybody Poops.
Okay, so you just kind of, you can skim through this. You can read some of it in detail. Like, what do you take from it in general?
Yeah, I'll read through it and kind of look at all his entire, history, and
Okay.
look at the Everybody Poops thing, and I think the captain at this point thinks, does Shiv have a problem with bowels? Is his bowels
No, it was he didn't realize that he was on cloud share when he gave it to Ivana.
But you don't know
So it
that.
wasn't on there.
You don't know that.
It wasn't on there when he dropped it. He wasn't on there when he dropped it, but when he added it to Ivana's pad,
Yeah.
it cloud shared over to his other.
You have no
so
idea
there's no
about
idea.
that.
The
You
cap-
have no idea.
the
he
He
was
has no
that.
idea it's there.
The captain definitely thinks that there's some sort of like bowel problem with Shiv, or Shiv thinks that he has a bowel problem. And so he makes.
Did
Shiv
we
is
all get a
really
copy
not
of it,
science
or
and technology. He's really not science and technology. So
There's
he
like
does
several
not
data
understand the
pads
cloud
that
share.
have it.
Yeah.
Fucking had iStarfleet on and didn't know to disable it.
Speaking of
Reply
that,
all.
Shiv's avatar on Roll20 has an eye patch. Is that an accurate representation?
Yes, it's an
Yeah.
accurate representation. He's also missing the tip of the antenna.
I thought the
on the
antennas
same-
grew back eventually.
Yeah, but not so fast.
Okay. Okay.
And his refusal to have like a cybernetic eye or a visor thing is part of his being anti-science.
It's part of his being anti-science, and I guess I mean I don't want to give away everything in just exposition, but
Okay.
the exocomp is a service animal to help him overcome this aversion to technology and science.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Well, I guess that would be known to the captain. It would be in the service record.
Yeah.
That's another thing, including why he was assigned one of the prototype exocomps at such an early stage in its development, stuff like this. So the Vulcan anger management, everything. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take this moment real quick to cut to Jigar. How are you? Like you've settled into your quarters. Like, is there anything else you've gone around to do?
I went to the hangar bay to see if one of my favorite ground vehicles made it onto the ship.
It is absolutely there.
And,
You personally made sure that was going to be on this ship. So you're because you're into that kind of thing. So, and you're a fleet liaison officer. You can pull. You've got some pull. You can get stuff on ships that you want to see on ships once in a while.
So
that
it's so I head over to and I've carried I've brought with me from my quarters a bag of tools,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna go and tinker a little bit on the motorcycle, that the classic motorcycle that I managed to sneak into a cargo hold and putz around with. I can't make it go because I haven't been able to find any gasoline, but I have this old motorcycle that I've been trying to piece together. So
I feel like when you get down there, you'll notice that all the dials and switches have been set back to 0 in their default configuration.
Shiv strikes again. Yeah.
Like, how did he find this? Like, I had tucked it away.
Yeah, just based on your intuition, like you just know it was him that did that.
Oh,
Because
Yeah.
you knew what he was
All-
going to
all-
go do. You knew he
Mm.
did that. Like there's nobody on this ship from the few that you've met so far that seems like they would do that. Except
and just as an aside, in the background, you now see Voss and the bartender who are just hanging out at one of the Argos that is also in the vehicle bay. There's bottles, there's glasses. They're talking and laughing just in the background, and Voss is just under the car, just fixing or tinkering with something. That's just in the background.
yeah,
So I see that my stuff has been messed with. I see them tinkering in the background, and I wander over
Improved.
and verify. I was like, did somebody mess with your stuff too? Like,
Yes, as soon as we got off duty, I made a couple of modifications to this thing, and now that we got back, it's all back to zero. It's like what the hell? It was like hours of
wheel
work.
is perfectly centered, like the crossbar of the wheel is perfectly horizontal.
like everything's
It was
just right.
hours of work.
hours of work.
Yeah, and I go back to fiddling.
And at this point, I probably I'm gonna just go ahead and come out with it because I'm a Klingon and I'm pretty forthright. And I'll be like, look, I heard you talking to a bartender back at Deep Space Five. And I sometimes I know people. Is there anything I can potentially help you get?
Well, if you have a line on a bottle of Aldebaran whiskey that I owe to this guy, and I point to the bartender,
Ah.
that would be greatly appreciated.
So you would know somebody near Risa, most likely. But you would definitely know where to find that in around Risa. You probably got a friend. If then again, maybe you're a Klingon that doesn't like Risa, like Worf. So it depends on your character. But if Risa's somewhere you feel like you would maybe have at
think-
least gone once,
I've probably been around there. I traveled a lot, especially in my pre-Starfleet days.
Yeah, so you have a
before
connect. You have a connect for that.
So I'm pretty sure I ran into somebody in the area
Okay.
and would have a bead on that.
Sweet.
Also, I like good booze, so
Yeah,
know.
you can't get good booze on a starship. It's all synthahol.
right, exactly. So I think I might know somebody who can help you when we get there. So let's make sure that you and I connect as we're getting off the ship.
Yeah, I like you. A lot more than a bully and bartender. Oof.
I feel like it's only fair, since Shiv messed with your stuff, that you guys can notice there's a crate in the cargo bay full of Andorian whiskey. It's just
Ooh.
sitting
Yeah, you
there.
would definitely know that, Jagar. You are being the liaison officer of not just a small fleet, but also of generally of this ship and like you know what's in and out of this ship. The only reason you
Yeah, it's also
wouldn't
got like
is it's
Ushan
labeled.
burned into the side of it.
Yeah, so
So
it's pretty obvious it's
clearly
Andorian.
Mm.
I like Andorian whiskey, but I don't want to piss Shiv off too much. Even though he's
Just do what you did when we were kids. You grab some of Dad's vodka and you put some water in it, to top it off.
God, my brother used to do that. Oh, that's so many memories.
honestly, I'm more thinking that I might convince one or two of the ensigns to help me hide it.
Mm.
Mm. Is
Okay.
Andorian whiskey one of those drinks that is completely vile and disgusting to anybody who's not Andorian?
only if you drink it warm.
Right, it has to be ice cold because it's from Andoria.
Ah, okay.
So it's only really great ice cold.
I
Now,
guess that's a thing that was lost in translation.
now one of
I-
the,
You're actually supposed to serve it with half an inch of liquid nitrogen at the bottom of the glass. So
Okay.
I kind of want to do like a scavenger hunt for it, though. That like basically I want Shiv to have to work for it. And
Yeah.
because I already know he's going up and down all over this damn ship nonstop, like what I want it to end up in like a holodeck, and basically like leave a trail of notes, maybe empty bottles where like I've the fucking blue barrels. It all gets emptied into a blue barrel that's then in a holodeck waiting for me. So I leave a series of bottles with notes around the ship.
Leading you to the next bottle to the next. Like there's a total of like what? Like you say like how many of these would it take him to actually like execute?
Oh, I would
through?
probably do at least 6 bottles so
And
that
you,
he's
you have to track where he is, so you have to do it
Yeah.
in places he's already been, so he
Like,
doesn't find
computer,
it.
where
while
is
you're doing it.
Commander Shiv? Yeah, so you know it's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get your pattern down so it
Yeah.
can be one
the
step ahead of
first
you.
the first bottle would end up, I would make sure it starts at his security station. And so when he gets back to security, he finds that first bottle and from there,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I want to save. I love the scavenger hunt. I want to save it as part of the B plot in the next episode, if y'all don't mind, of Shiv going through that. I think that would be fun. If that's cool. If that's cool with everybody. That just gave me an idea.
Leave the first bottle in his quarters. He won't go back to his quarters for a while.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'll make a little B plot with that for next episode, and I'll work with you on that, Jen, to kind of come up with that. But I like that. So yeah, you just that gets left in his quarters. You set the rest up. You know, it's like a whole scavenger hunt for him for the future. So eventually, like after and Captain, I don't want to keep skipping you. Like, is there anything else you wish to achieve? Like, do you want to like call them into a conference or anything like that before you get to Risa?
Yeah, he'd probably call everyone into I guess the conference room.
Like when you're like halfway
just-
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all are all called to the conference room. You eventually like file in and you're sitting in your spots. Do you report to the room before or after all of them have?
Before.
Okay.
And was Shiv allowed to complete his inspection before this call came?
I bet it, how many hours do you think it would have taken him, in your opinion?
I don't know how many decks there. I don't know enough about the Titan. class
11,
yet.
11 decks.
Yeah, there's 11 decks. You would have definitely figured it out.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Would getting interrupted mean that you start back from the beginning?
That's why I was asking. It's going to have an impact on Shiv's demeanor.
I'd say you can do like a full ship, like with 11 decks, you can do a full ship in about. Well, is that 11 decks on a Parliament or is that 11 decks on a Luna?
11 decks on. Oh, good question.
Because we talked about 11 decks. I think the Luna.
No. Parliament's bigger. Parliament's.
Oh, that's right. It was. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, 11 decks. We're cool. We'll just say 11 decks for now. And if that number increases for an official reason, whatever, I'll retcon it. No big deal. But yeah, 11 decks. And most of it's like a huge portion of it was sick bay, and that place was just crawling with people doing stuff. The whole, you could get that done. You're efficient enough and you're proficient enough. You could probably get that done in about 2.5 hours to 3. So, you probably just about to finish it up when they give you the
Yeah,
call.
but he's going in and resetting everything to 0.
Yeah. So let's say he's finished his first 3 passes.
Oh,
through the
okay.
entire ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's 11 decks, and then below that is some gubbins near their deflector dish.
Yeah. So anyway, y'all get called to conference room. You trickle in, Captain. You.
The captain.
Yeah, go ahead.
He'll wait for everyone to come in. Once everyone comes in, he'll look at them for a moment and goes, "I know this is the first senior command for some of you. Some of you, it's probably old hat by now. But I always want to talk to the crew beforehand and get a gist of how everyone is here. I believe that a crew is only strong when it's together on everything. and I mean everything. He looks over at Shiv and then looks over to Jagar. Everything. A stick breaks, but a bundle does not.
Yes. Teamwork makes the dream work, Captain.
Yeah! Yeah!
The
A
world.
single drop of a single drop of water did not form the mountains of Borath.
Empire's most bubbliest Klingon over here.
Shiv is just standing behind his chair with his hands on like the seat back. And it's just like an acceptable axiom, Captain.
Thank you. Remind me, stick around, Shiv. I need you to talk with Doctor. What's the name of the doctor again?
Hoff, Dr. Hoff.
Hoff. I need you and me and Dr. Hoff need to speak for a moment. But before that, I expect this ship to be run clean, be run tight. But the one thing that in my many years, in my many lives, I've learned is that rules are good until they're not.
Shiv's antenna just poke up.
But Captain, that's the rules because I mean, she just is like distressed at
Yeah,
this
it's just-
paradox.
We're Starfleet. We push the boundaries of everything. Sometimes the rules are good guidelines, but sometimes the rules are just nonsense. We need to do what we need to do to get the job done and to save people's lives. And sometimes the rules get in the way of that.
Okay, so you're saying that context matters?
Yes.
Okay, I get it now.
But until we need to throw the rule book out, we stick by it
There's a book?
as a team.
Where do I find this book?
You can you can see like Shiv slowly start to vibrate a little bit. Not in anxiousness, in excitement. In excitement. It's just
Does he have that book?
Yes, a pragmatic approach is good. Maybe we'll get some shit done.
By the way, Commander Shiv, could you please furnish Lieutenant Lieutenant Yolo with a copy of Starfleet regulations? Apparently, they may have lost.
But I
theirs.
thought you said it was a book. I thought I could have a book.
It is a book.
I have it on a data
hold on.
pad somewhere, but I thought I used that book.
That's a book. Yolo.
Shiv reaches down to his data pad and hits some buttons and swipes up, and a copy of Starfleet regulations. A third copy of Everybody Poops goes up on Yolo's data pad.
At this point, Jadzia dashes.
Unintentionally.
Oh, pardon me. Yeah,
because
no.
he doesn't understand the cloud.
At this point, Jadzia comes in, and she kind of has this look on her face, and she just says, "Pardon me. I was not in any way trying to disrupt what is going on here, Captain and officers. But I knew you were all coming here, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for getting me to Risa as quickly as you're getting me there. I knew you were coming in for a meeting, and I just wanted to have a moment to tell all of you that without having to go to the bridge."
I'm you see Voss sitting at the chair that's furthest from where the main display is, and he's just poking at his pad, but he's got the engineering readout, just seeing the current speed, power consumptions, are all the figures that are coming in live from engineering, and not paying attention to any of the conversations happening.
Yeah, she just walks in and she says this, and then she just says, I know that you are supposed to be prepping for Bajor, and that's a big task, but I just wanted to say thank you for being available to take me to Risa so that I can take on the symbiote. This was totally unexpected for Curzon to go this way. But yeah. And then there seems something that she's like not saying, but is there in her like mind about what's going on with Curzon.
Curzon was a friend of the Empire. and a friend to Klingons, and it's an honor to do this. And if you need anything, Jagar is here to help Jedzia.
Anybody else had anything?
With
Captain, you were popping, and Ivana, go ahead.
kind of with my intuitive trait and insight. Can I
Yeah, go
attempt
ahead.
to
Go ahead.
try and
Yeah,
understand what she's what's going on with her?
insights. I'm trying
I
to
don't know
think.
what the discipline
Yeah,
would
I'm
be.
trying to
Yeah.
decide because you're more of like trying to read her. I would say
Right.
insight command. That seems like a commandy thing.
Command. Okay.
Yeah, insight command.
Is
And
that-
yes, you have. Go ahead.
Is that something that I can like? This is a game mechanics thing. Can I assist her in
Yes,
that?
yes, you can.
communications?
So
Alright.
you would roll the same thing. Or pardon me, I said insight. Yeah, insight command, and you would only roll one die. Disco. You would only roll one die while she rolls two, and it's
no-
going to be a fairly low difficulty. I'm just going to put it at like a 2.
Okay.
Task
So no
roll,
no focus used, right?
No, you
Something
could
like
have a
that.
focus with you have an intuition focus, right? Intuitive.
It's a trait. It's a trait. The only
Oh, that's a
focus I have
value.
might be leadership. That would be.
I'll give you that for leader. I think a good leader reads people well, so I'm going to say you can use
Okay.
a focus for that. So Shiv, you rolled 3 die somehow. Go with your task roll. You
Well-
have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hit the 1. But we'll go with your
Well,
first die.
we just go with the first
yeah.
die.
So
yeah.
you got a 1, and then go ahead and roll yours. So you got it. Y'all got it. Y'all actually have 1 on the momentum track now. What you can tell is there's something about the death of Curzon that's like, it's not like she's really sad about it. It's kind of like, it's like this feeling of like, you're sensing this feeling, both of you are, because you assisted with her. Like she's just like very like, it's not embarrassed, but she's just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is what's happening. Like this, really? Like that's the kind of thing that you both are reading for her. She's just like so flabbergasted by the nature of how he's dying. So Captain, you were about to say something earlier. What were you about to say?
Oh, I was gonna say. I was gonna ask you. She's a lieutenant at this point, right? Not a lieutenant commander,
she's
or is she
lieutenant.
commander?
She's lieutenant.
I would have just said it. Lieutenant, I meant to talk with you at a moment. At some point, I'd like you to come visit me in my Reddit room and discuss.
You're
the
joined,
process.
Captain. Or
Yes.
am I correct? Oh,
Yeah.
I would very much love to talk to you before the surgery. Thank you. That would be very, very. I think that would reassure me a lot right now.
I've been through it 3 times already, or 4 times, so it's not too bad. It's not too bad, but I could give you some tips.
Thank you. And if anybody else gonna say anything to her or interact with her, like you can question her a little bit if you want about what she's feeling, if you want to, because you did read that read, or you can wait till later.
I just give her another reassuring nod, just from our earlier conversation.
She smiles to you. She's gotten a good rapport with you. She really enjoys you.
Okay.
And then she just
Shiv was only checking to see if there was a danger to the crew or whatever. He wouldn't,
yeah. She
wouldn't
just
go so low.
yeah, he's just kind of, yeah, okay, yeah. So once she's done with that, she just kind of shrinks back a little bit. She says, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disrupt you. I will, and Captain, I will see you later. I'll be in I should be in the sick bay. And she kind of moseys back out, and shoom, the door closes behind her.
Okay. I'll
She's
finish
very
up with.
meek. She comes off very meek to you right now.
I'll finish up by saying, is there anything you want to talk about, to discuss before we arrive at Risa? I will expect us to stay on board. We still have a mission to complete. Sadly, we can't go visit Risa for its many delights quite yet, but maybe a few minutes here and there.
Yeah, like the surgery should take like about maybe a couple hours, like prep and all that. So you'll have a little bit of time. Like somebody could go down and get an ice cream kind of thing. if they wanted.
Can I check through the data that I'm getting whether we are at max speed, or can we, or is it obvious from the
No,
data
you're
that
you're
we could
going.
actually
The thing's
that
singing
we
like
could get like factor 0.1 faster than we've already set? Like,
you.
can I see that the engines can do it?
You could in theory, but like your chief engineer is more of like, this is a new ship. They're a little worried, like if they put too much power into it, too much is going into the ship. Like you never know with these new ships. It's
Right.
kinda,
We don't
'cause,
want
by the way,
another
your chief
Excelsior.
engineer is sitting in there, and I haven't given them a name yet, but yeah, they're probably like a Vulcan. I would imagine it's a Vulcan chief engineer. So they're just kind of, they're sitting next to you and looking over so every so often at what you're doing on your pad.
Mm.
It's probably a woman. She's very mean. So yeah,
She's not mean. She's just very Vulcan.
Vulcan. Yeah. So yeah, she's kind of looking at what you're doing, and she's like occasionally like hitting a button for you, like to kind of like, no, you should look at that.
Mm.
She doesn't say much. Anything else? Like, do you all have anything else to do in the conference room?
So
As we're all leaving, I quickly just mentioned to Jagar and Voss that I've been working with the ship's computer to have a quick little button press combination that will allow them to reset their terminals anytime after Shiv has been there to what it used to be. Using
So
my
like
computer
a
skills.
default to my
Restore,
presets.
like,
yeah,
Yeah,
restore.
Control Z, a Control
Mhm.
Z, as it were. You know.
Yeah.
Can you
And
figure
I say,
out how
please,
to?
please keep this between us, though, because
Yeah,
I don't want to get on Shiv's bad side. So
Yeah, y'all, and you remember the captain wanted him to hang back. So yeah, y'all leave and get out of there, and he wouldn't have heard that because he's hanging back with the captain after the meeting.
On my honor as a Klingon, I will not tell a soul. That is.
I appreciate that.
I like it.
But-
Thank you. That's nice of you. You're a nice lady. Hi, I'm y'all just know me. I'm YOLO.
And then she like
Nice to
actually
meet
like
you, YOLO.
when she's walking, she actually doesn't walk alongside y'all because she's so small. Like she gets like looked over a lot. So she actually like, there's a track on every part of the deck. It's customized for the ship. There's basically a second walkway that is just like, it's like it's only like I don't know, 8 inches wide, and it's just like, it's to keep her eye level with everybody when she walks down hallways. So she's just like kind of walking along with y'all.
That's amazing.
And she like sort of climbs up the walls like with these suckers on her fingers. So she has to like climb to get to it. But
I was
she,
gonna say like the cat, like cat people put like
oh yeah, the
walks
cats.
around
There's
like
cats
for
that,
cats like
yeah, they're-
around the ceiling.
yeah. It's
Is there
like
is
the
there a
general
scratching
purpose.
post on the bridge as well?
Yeah, she's fine with everything being a y'all size, but it's like the walkways and stuff, like, and yeah, you occasionally like see somebody's cat on the walkway once in a while, that kind of thing. One time Spot gets into the ship somehow. No, I'm just kidding. but yeah, it's like a little walkway of her own, and just for any other smaller crew members that want to kind of be at eye level with everybody and not get stepped on. So yeah, she like walks along with y'all, and she's like, "Thank you, lady." But she's really fast. Like she has to slow down to walk with y'all. But anyway, so yeah, so now it's the captain and Shiv in the conference room.
And Pang Pang or whatever his name is.
Hoff.
Doctor,
Yeah,
Hoff.
Hoff sitting there. Captain. He just kind of.
Dr. Hoff, this is, I think, is a nature between you and the commander here. Commander, are you having bowel issues?
I was wondering the same, and he shows you how you sent him like the poop
Everyone
thing, like on
poops.
his, like how he got it on his data pad just a few minutes ago.
Shiv is just going to let out the mixture of Vulcan and Andorian explicatives that I don't know off the top of my head. Just like one of each.
Yeah.
I just one of each, and be like, and just look at his pad and just look up and realize, and just kind of humbly like, does anybody know how to disable the Starfleet cloud protocols?
I look over at his pad and I just tap 2 buttons. It's like the button that literally says like iCloud off. It's like this little thing. It just turns from
It's in
green
the
to like
corner of every
gray.
screen.
Yeah,
But
of
you know,
every
the data
screen, it
pads
just
are
turns
like
to green to
slightly
gray.
different from what they have been for the last year. So you just didn't know to look for it there. Like they've updated a little bit for the ship. You know, it's a little different, but it's like
And
going
then
from
he-
a Mac to like a PC or vice versa. Like you're like, okay.
And after he does that, he kind of hits a few buttons to change the pad back to the old style rather than the new style.
Well, I
Uh,
certainly find this
reset
to
it.
be a fascinating thing. And he reads through the book. Off.
It's I hear it's a classic.
I assure you, I am as continent as your leadership, Captain.
Thank you, Commander. I was just concerned when it ended up in your files with your accommodations, with your service record and your suggestion for four shift rotation.
My thoughts were only with Lieutenant Jedzia's well-being.
Trust me, Commander. Being joined is nothing like giving birth. I've done it 3 times.
If Voss was still in there, he would ask, "And how many times have you given birth?"
A couple, probably. But yeah, so when y'all are done with that, you know, y'all file on out, and it's a few more hours later, and y'all eventually arrive at Risa, and Dr. Hoff prepares. He like an hour or two before he started preparing Jedzia, like because the plan is like they're just gonna beam Curzon up, like directly onto a med bed. You find out on the way though, and this makes sense with how Jedzia seemed to be behaving. It just kind of like you just happen to find out from somebody like it's kind of one of those things that gets to you through like there's a couple Starfleet people down there. There's probably like a doctor that knows that knows you, Nolan. Actually, there's another doctor out there that's a friend of yours, and he heard that you were coming out to deal with Curzon, and he's been helping and assisting and keeping Curzon stabilized. And he just sort of sends you a note that or actually let's do this as a bridge scene. Let's just do this as a bridge scene. So you're all on the bridge at this point. You're getting close, and you get a hail from Risa as you're pulling up, right? And it's from your friend. It's from a friend of yours named Dr. Fizbin. No, wait. Fizbin's a game. Fizbin's a game and a piece of the action. Dr.
Hold on.
Anders. Dr. Anders. Dr. Anders. They're a human doctor.
Human? All right.
Yeah. Dr. Anders. So Dr. Anders hails. Jigar, you're getting like the thing about the hail.
Captain, we've got Dr. Anders hailing, bringing him up on screen.
On screen.
How you been? No, me. I'm gonna get y'all's names confused. How you been doing? How you doing?
Doing fine there, Dr. Anders.
You know him. You like served together with him when y'all were real young.
Okay.
Like you've
Okay.
known him for a while. That's why he's calling
No.
you. He heard that you were coming this way. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man? How you been?"
It's been too long. What are you doing on Risa?
Well, I'll tell you something. He's like decked out in like all this ridiculous like Hawaiian kind of clothing, like the Hawaiian shirt, like really loud colors, like he's enjoying a vacation. Well, I'll tell you what's been happening. I got, I've been on a little bit of a leave, and this feller over here, Curzon Dax. I mean, hell, the guy wrote the Kittimer Accords. He or one of the Accords. I don't remember which one, but he's here, and I've been helping keeping him stabilized. And you're not gonna guess why this man's dying. And he kind of like he's waiting for you to say something. Like he's like,
Did he get into a drunken bar? Did he get in a drunken bar fight with a Vulcan? What? Like it's Curzon.
let's just say
He's
Curzon.
legendary for that.
Let's just say Curzon. Oh, go ahead, Voss.
Just under his breath, he leans forward over the thing to Oral, and the captain can hear, and he's like, "Chlamydia."
The captain actually chuckles a little bit. Goes, "Stop it."
Well, I'll tell you there, Commander. He looks at you, Ship, because he heard it. He could hear it well enough because y'all have very good audio. He could hear. He's like, no, but you're close. You're on the right path. He's passing away because he was making love to a beautiful woman, and he started to have basically, I guess, what's something like a trail heart attack. I've been keeping him stable, but he's going. So I hope y'all are close. How close are you? You're there.
Stars.
You're in orbit.
Yeah, there's. We're already here. There.
All
What's his
right.
first name? I guess Nigel. We're already here.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, I'm gonna get him ready to get sent up. Are y'all ready? Like y'all got this ready for that surgery? Cause I ain't know how to do that surgery. I hope y'all do.
Best surgeons in the fleet.
All right, right. Well, I'm going to tell them down here and get you all the right coordinates and everything. We're going to get you set up. I expected this, y'all are transferring straight to the sick bay, so I got you set up for him. I got him all laid out and everything attached to him. So he's doing all right, and he kind of like it's almost like he moves the camera a little bit, and like Curzon's laying there. And I mean, he's got a big smile on his face. Like he's basically comatose with a smile on his face that they can't get, they can't do anything about. It's just a muscle thing. And there's a woman like standing near him who is very, very beautiful and Rajan, who's just like, I'm so sorry. She's so sad. And they're like trying to like get her out of the room. And she's just like, oh my God. And so he's like, yeah, it's a mess down here.
This is why Curzon is legendary on Kotnosh.
I imagine so. Well, you got Klingon on your ship. What? That cool. Anyway, I'll let you go. Bye, y'all. And he,
Thank you, Nigel.
Nigel out.
Of course, I'm gonna go Shran out and hit him before, of course.
Yeah.
But if he goes before me, but whatever.
Okay. So the next thing y'all
Hang
know,
up
like
first.
y'all gotten the transfer coordinates. Dr. Hoff is like ready. Jadzia's on deck. Everybody's on deck. They've already gone ahead and like knocked Jadzia out with whatever, kind of anesthesia basically that they, so Dr. Hoff like, he calms you. We are ready, Captain.
He calls beers to the transporter room.
Transporter room 1.
Beam Curzon Dax to the sick bay in preparation for the surgery.
Yep, they just sent the coordinates up to us, Captain. We got you taken care of.
As Beers says that, a shank materializes a little Horgon in front of him and just makes a sad noise.
I look over at Shiv and go, "What is the name of your service droid?"
That's Shank. And chlamydia is never on the right path.
Sorry, Shank, we don't have time. Next time.
Yeah, he's like, and so yeah, they beam Curzon aboard, and this is where you see the one of the cuts, like the shots from the beginning of Deep Space Nine where they are doing the surgery. So Dr. Hoff's like, the surgery takes approximately like 2-ish hours because it's kind of, like all these fail safes and making sure there's a way to preserve the symbiote if this goes wrong, yada, yada, yada. So there's like a whole, how it is with surgery. They have a whole protocol to go through. And it takes them about 2 hours. And, the ship's pretty quiet. A couple people, there's a couple like little things like coming up from Risa, like a little, there's a transport that happens during all this to the cargo bay. And, Jagar has maybe, I'm going to just say that you've acquired a few goods while we were here. As promised.
Yep. That's I found my buddy.
Yeah, you found your buddy. And
Yeah, I would have given you the latinum, by the way, the one the what I had saved prepared for
No,
the
they
bullion.
do not insist on being paid for it, because at least for that, because she's she's somebody they like, and they
Well,
owe her a couple favors.
This guy owed me a favor.
Yeah.
Sure, but I didn't know this, so I still gave the latinum to Jagar,
Okay.
and then it's out of my hands. So
Yeah. So now you have a couple slips of latinum.
to let's say 10 strips,
10 strips is a bar.
which is the smallest one.
Slips.
All right,
Yeah,
so
he's
10
saying the
so
10 slips are worth a bar. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
she's saying.
yeah.
It's dimes. It's the dimes of latinum. It probably costs it doesn't obviously cost a bar of latinum.
No, but it's still not the cheapest. So
Yeah, it's like
let's say 5 strips.
Yeah, it's 5 strips. There you go.
Mhm.
So yeah, they get you that stuff, and then when the surgery's over, of course, Jadzia wakes up, and she is now Jadzia Dax. And Ivana, you may have been around for that surgery. She is distinctly there's it's that je ne sais quoi. There's just something different about her. And
I suppose I would almost reintroduce myself in a way, and just
yeah, she's a little adjusting, but she's like, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Like, it's so nice to meet you again. She's all smiles now. Like, before she was like, huh? But it's like ever since she woke up with the symbiote, she's just bright as sunshine.
It's great to see you adjusting so well.
Oh, we forgot to do the conversation beforehand, Captain. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. It's okay.
Yeah, we'll
I guess I've had it.
We'll work that in the next episode a little bit. Maybe in the first episode we might actually go on a scene with this. But with all that, I think we're going to bring this session to a close. Jadzia is now Jadzia Dax. You have succeeded in making sure and ensuring that happened, crew. So, woo! Session 0 is over. This is a tradition that we do with TSMR. I'd like to go one by one real quick before everybody leaves and ask you what was your favorite part of the session. And I'm going to start with from the bottom and go to the top. So, Darj, favorite moment of the episode?
Remembering how Curzon died, because that completely slipped my mind. But yeah, thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the reminder.
And then Maiden, what was your favorite moment of the episode?
I think I loved the fact that there's a pet bed in the first officer's chair instead of the first officer, and that's kind of a unique thing and
it
pretty
hasn't
cool.
made it to the chair yet. It's in the bridge though.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
it'll get
eventually.
there, though.
It'll
But
get
just
there.
the idea of it is awesome. So
And then Jen, what about you?
I think I really just like Shiv running around undoing everybody's work, honestly.
Because defaults.
Yeah.
'Cause defaults. And then Disco, Jared, what was your favorite moment?
I want to add that before I get to that, while watching the surgery, like on the 3/4 overhead monitor the entire time, Shiv goes into his pad and deletes "So You're Having a Baby" by Dr. Spock, but because he's re-enabled the cloud sync, he deletes it from the entire shipboard database, so it no longer exists
No one
on the
has it.
ship
Yeah.
by accident. My favorite part is seeing the crew members already plotting against him.
With love.
With love from Starfleet.
With love from Kronos.
Yeah. And then what about you, Paul? What was your favorite moment?
I'm torn. I
Tell
like
us
the
both
idea that-
whatever you're torn
Okay,
between.
so my favorite moment was the fact that something that a audio issue with Darj has created an entire thing where Shiv is going around just resetting everything to default because it's distracting.
Yeah.
And the second one I really like was is YOLO.
Yes, I'm
That's
so
kind
glad
of
that somebody picked YOLO.
Sure.
I've been working on that voice all week in my truck, just driving to work and stuff.
Not
I can
the
see-
character of YOLO, or did we immediately renamed it from Lolo
both.
to YOLO?
Well,
It's both. They're one and the same.
The same.
yeah, they smell the same. It's just how you pronounce it. It's however anybody, YOLO.
It's-
YOLO is whatever you want it to be.
I feel like Lolo is the like official name, but YOLO is like the diminutive of Lolo.
Yeah,
Like
Scott and Scotty.
I like
Yeah,
to think of
Scott
it as
Scotty,
like
yeah.
one day, like though somebody like just she the way she is, like somebody was like, yeah, YOLO, and then people just start like she just like, yeah, you can call me that. If it works.
If I don't know if you're not familiar, there's the Pop Warrior project was birthed from a podcast, an improvised podcast called The Improvised Star Trek, and YOLO completely reminded me of one of the characters from Improvised Star Trek, which is Ensign Greg, who's this
Greg.
disembodied little light being, and just walks around and it's talks you hear he talks like this, and he's just this happy little character. He loves everybody, and yeah.
Yeah, YOLO pretty smart, but YOLO don't get everything because YOLO just got we got a lot of stuff to think about all the time.
So yeah, I'll work her out a bit more, exactly, because I was like, I want to introduce a unique race. My favorite moments, though, getting to me, I honestly, I think it had to be, I don't want to be a cop out and be like, it was just nice to do a first session, but I think my favorite moment is somewhere between the exocomp, just have a pet bed set up on the bridge, and the whole, I'm trying to think. There's so much that happened, but honestly, it was the captain kind of dealing with Shiv, being so yeah, great episode, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed session 0.